Alright guys, Tottenham have just beaten Everton by 2 goals to 0 in what was quite a slow game to begin with, especially first half. Tottenham, they had a lot of the ball, but they were really struggling to create any chances. Everton were defending brilliantly. Connor Cody and James Tarkowski in their defence have done wonders since they've come into the team. As well as, to be fair, Mikalenko's put in a solid shift at left back ever since he's been in the team. And Coleman, you know what you're going to get from Coleman. He's going to be 6 or 7 out of 10 every week. It's probably not going to be long until Patterson does, take his starting spot away from him. But it's still a much improved defence on what they had last season. And Everton had a couple of really good chances in the first half. Damari Gray had the first one where he was through on goal. It was a slightly tight angle, but he still needed to keep the ball low and to keep it on target, whereas he blazed it on the bar. And then there was a similar thing with Amadou Onana. He went through on goal. His was more central, and he did have a bit more pressure on him from the Tottenham defence. But again, he took a little bit of a heavy touch and then was slightly stretching for it with his left foot and went way over the bar. But they needed to keep them on target was the thing. And I wonder if, I know Tottenham replaced their pitch when they used the NFL, which they had last week. But I wonder if it does have an effect on when they're replacing the pitch on how good the quality of the turf is the next time they use it. Because the ball did seem to bobble a fair bit, especially during the first half today. I thought, I don't know if it does have any effects. It's obviously going to be artificial turf. You wouldn't have thought it'd have too much of an effect. But it was weird how the ball was bobbling quite a bit. But yeah, Tottenham, as I say, they couldn't really create many chances first half. But then second half, they started to open up a bit. They were forced into a substitution that forced a change of style, tactics, formation even. They brought off Richarlison, who had a bit of a frustrating time against his old team. He struggled to get in the game. I thought really got very little of the ball when Tottenham did attack in the first 50 minutes where he was on the pitch. It was mostly through Harry Kane, and he could not really get on the ball. The wing backs, they played a part for Tottenham as well. Doherty and Perisic, they played well. But yeah, when the sub was made, Richarlison coming off for Bissouma, it obviously went to a 3-5-2, three-man midfield as opposed to just having Højbjerg and Bentancur. And then Everton started to take control of the game, and that just meant Son comes in more central, which I think suits him more. Because it just means Kane can come deeper, and then he has Son to try and constantly pick out. It seemed to suit the team a bit more, and it also means that the wing backs can push on further forward. There's an extra midfield to cover in for them, especially how it's a three-man midfield made up of players who are defensively minded. Like there's no one in there who's like a particularly like a flair player. They're all players who are going to graft for the team, but aren't really what you would call exciting players. Players who are going to not flair players. That's the word I'm looking for. Flair. They're hard-working midfielders. Højbjerg, Bentancur, and Bissouma. And yeah, the first goal came from a Pickford mistake. Pickford had a decent game up to that point. He was making a few saves, but Pickford in big games, he either has like one of the best goalkeeping performances you'll see all season, or occasionally he throws in an error every now and again. Today that was one of them. It was a shot which he saved but needed to hold on to. Kane gets there. And Pickford, it's an automatic reaction. He's got to try and win the ball, but Kane's already taken it past him. And in the end, I think it was like Pickford's shoulder and head that took out Kane more than his arms. Kane took the penalty. He missed one in the week. He also scored one in the week as well, actually. And that was his 30th penalty he scored in the Premier League, which is a very good record. I think only Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, and Alan Shearer, if I'm correct, have scored more penalties in the Premier League than him. So he's obviously a brilliant penalty taker. And yeah, put Tottenham in front. And Tottenham did get another towards the end of the game after just putting Everton under constant pressure. I don't think Everton even had a shot or a shot on target in the second half. It was one-way traffic, to say the least. The second goal came from Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. It was a really well worked goal. Kane holding the ball up at the halfway line, allowing Bentancur to run beyond him. And then Bentancur picks out Højbjerg brilliantly. And Højbjerg, he is under pressure. Iwobi gets round him and tries to block the shot. It takes a nick off Iwobi before finding the corner of the net. And that deflection off Iwobi just really took it off Pickford's hands, really. He didn't have a chance at saving it. And yeah, that made it 2-0 Tottenham, game over, especially considering Everton don't really tend to score more than one goal in a game. I think they've only done it once this season, and that was against Southampton, who are struggling a little bit at the moment as well. But yeah, Everton, to me, when I look at their team, I think, obviously, Pickford, brilliant goalkeeper. The defence, much improved. Really, like it's a mid-table defence, if not higher, at the moment. Everton, I think they're currently conceding 1 goal a game, which isn't amazing. Don't get me wrong, but it's not bad. Like when you consider, I think Liverpool, when they came second in 2014, they conceded 51 goals that season, and they came second. I know they scored absolutely loads, like Suarez and Sturridge were on fire that year, but they conceded far too many. Everton are conceding a lot less than Liverpool were that season. Obviously, granted, they're not scoring as many because I think their midfield is quite good now. Idrissa Gana Guy, obviously, very good player, as well as Iwobi, very informed, and Amadou Onana is going to go on to have a brilliant career. Like he's only 21 and he already looks like a super box-to-box midfielder. But the forward line of tonight, it was Dwight McNeil, Neil Maupay and Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray, very good player. No, Neil Maupay, I keep doing this. Neil Maupay, he causes problems, but he's not really a striker that is going to get you in the top half of the table, in my opinion. He's a good player to have in the squad, but he's not prolific enough at all. And Dwight McNeil, I think he suited Burnley a lot more because Burnley played this 4-4-2 formation and he was on the left of the midfield four. And in the 4-3-3, it doesn't suit him. He's playing far too far up the pitch for where he's suited to. And yeah, I don't think he should really be starting for Everton in the current system that they are playing. And obviously he doesn't normally. Anthony Gordon was suspended for today after 5 yellow cards. But yeah, the front three I still think could do some improving. Obviously Calvert-Lewin's coming back as well. He came off the bench today. Struggled to get in the game, but that was mainly because Everton were being dominated. But yeah, it's still looking quite good for Everton. I mean, 2-0 loss to Tottenham, it's not great, but it's not a horrific result. Tottenham, whilst people have criticised them for playing poor at times this season, they are churning out results, so you can't fault them on that front. But yeah, Tottenham, it was a much better second half. It's one of the best second halves I've seen them put in this season. The substitution definitely made the difference for them. And I'll be interested to see if in their next game, I can't remember who they've got next, but if they do go for a 3-5-2 formation as opposed to a 3-4-3, because it just allows Matt Doherty and even Perisic or even Ryan Sessegnon, whoever's playing on the left, to get forwards more because they have more space to run into and they have the extra midfielder to protect and cover for them. So yeah, but yeah, it's looking good for both teams right now. The one thing I do want to point out is in Everton's midfield, though, as good as I think it is, from what I've seen of Idrissa Gana Guy this season, he doesn't quite seem to have the legs he used to. Obviously, he's getting on now. I think he's in his 30s now, 32 maybe. But yeah, he just seems a little bit more leggy than he was. That could also be down to the lack of football he's had at times at PSG in the 3 years he was there. But Onana is brilliant. The way he can just hook the ball away from a player when the opposition team's on the counter attack, he can just come up behind them and use his 6'5" frame and just come from behind them and hook the ball off them. It's absolutely brilliant, and he is going to be some player in the future. I wouldn't have thought it'd be too long until a big team does come in from. No offence to Everton, obviously, but there are bigger teams, unfortunately. But yeah, good game to watch. It's not looking too bad for both sides, but thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.